But just more casual.
Yeah, exactly. But like for the cartoons, DC is like a much more entertaining and like
It's because they're more
because they
like
get more
faithful. Yeah, they're more.
stories.
Yeah, they're more faithful to the material itself. But I feel like they have like a lot more to like work with. Whereas like Marvel's like, well, like again, DC has their Watchmen. What's the equivalent that Marvel has?
Um,
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not the same thing. It's not like a like. It's not groundbreaking enough that they'll like teach fucking like university like college courses about it and
well,
like the actual
from
like
just a
era.
graphic novel standpoint.
Yeah, like the importance of it all.
Yeah, no,
Whereas like Marvel, I think the closest thing Marvel has is uh the death of like Captain Marvel, like the original one back then, like Mr. Miracle, that kind of thing, right?
actually, yeah, that's funny because
Like in a
Marvel's
sense of like Captain, like yeah, in the sense of like the original, like, you know, male Captain Marvel, um and not like Shazam either, fuck, but like
no,
back one, like when he got cancer, like it was like an actual like important like ground kind of like real storyline, whereas nothing is, and that was the whole point with Watchmen, is like taking that like pulp like superhero world and then making giving it grounded, like making it grounded and real and like cynical, yeah, or
right, right. Yeah, that's yeah, no, I will admit that as well. That is a counterpoint, and I it's that.
it's weird that Marvel always
Everyone does have
like,
Watchmen on their shelf.
yeah,
It's yeah,
yeah, like it's weird how Marvel always prides itself on being like realistic and like grounded and everything of that, because like in small doses, sure, like some characters like Spider-Man, like everyone can really relate to Peter Parker, but in the terms of like of the maturity of like storytelling and whatnot, it's not the same. It's like night and day practically.
a lot of stuff gets kind of shied away.
Hmm.
Like even popularly, if you're talking right, like that's why like Marvel has been so reboot button a lot with their comics.
Yeah, and it's always weird because like there's been like tons of like grandstanding storylines for like reboots, like the original like Infinite Crisis kind of thing, where like basically offers like a fresh start, and Marvel's never done that like at all. Like they always like do like the closest I feel like modern wise is like the end of Secret Wars, where where they more or less
Yeah,
did like a soft reboot with like Molecule Man go and like Molecule Man basically giving like the Richards family the ability to like recreate the universe, kind of, right? And then they're like, "Well, this is our fresh start. All our previous worlds like have died, and now they've been reborn." But it's
okay,
like
yeah.
but it still has all the old canon, like all this old stuff still counts.
Usually they're just kind of like, okay, and now we're gonna focus on this universe for a couple of years until that version of Galactus tries to eat it.
Yeah, there's never been like the like I don't feel like there's ever been like a real world's one where like, okay, Kingdom Come is like where they actually like tried that, where it was like all the characters like aged in real time pretty much, right? So the entire thing was like dealing with the like the children that come after the Trinity. Whereas like Marvel hasn't even tried that either, because like they'll have like the Richard kids, and that's like the closest they'll always remain as kids.
And a robot.
Yeah.
Kids and a weird floaty robot. Yeah, it's weird. You're right. Like they'll, so it's like they almost kind of do like soft reboots where it's like, and
Yeah.
Peter Parker is now in college again. They're like, and now we have this version of Peter Parker that is from this universe.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
it's
wild, dude.
but it's that's the thing, is like they like want to do it, but it's always like a soft, this doesn't really count. Like when they launched the Ultimate line, It was like, hey, now we can start. You can start fresh. You don't need to know anything else about Peter Parker. This is where it all begins. And like, fuck, man, that Ultimate Spider-Man. I hate Bendis. Like, I absolutely can't stand him. But man, that like run is so good. That like, his Ultimate Spider-Man was so good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like so good. Same as X-Men, right? And that was all like first time stuff. But again, it was a separate universe than 616, so it didn't count. It only counted within itself.
See, with their current like Rebirth reboot and even like Metal has been like they almost kind of did like the Marvel thing.
Yeah, it was like soft reboots because okay, with Rebirth, the entire truth of it all is like, oh, we didn't actually like, restart from New 52. It wasn't like it wasn't an actual like fresh start. It was like, oh, we've been missing just like 10 years of our lives basically. And where did that go from? Where did that go to? Whereas like Metal was weird. Metal was just fucking weird just cuz like is Snyder just exploding out weird concepts, and then the payoff was like, eh.
Kind of weird because like
It was so like over the top. Like it was like a giant roller coaster, and then like the ending, it's just itself was just like, you like come to the station, yeah, yeah.
it was very like funny, but Johnny's the comic shop, the shop that I work at, and he was like, this is pretty good. Like I'm actually like really enjoying it. I had my doubts and everything. And like the last issue came out, and he's like,
Yeah, yeah, like it's amazing like how like badass like all the like solo ones about like actually building up the different like versions of that like Batman and whatnot. All those were like totally solid, and then like yeah, like basically the Aqua one like got harpooned by like Aquaman off like in one panel and then like dead.
yeah.
Like some of them didn't even like get a on-screen death. They're just like, we took care of them, and it didn't even bother doing the details of it either. It just like, oh well, we fixed the problem, done.
Yeah.
And then it'll just go on to some other big ass thing that they'll resolve easily. And that's the thing is like, the journey upwards was great, and then like how they actually dealt with the situation was just so meh.
Yeah, it felt like it was one of those things that's
Like he wrote himself into the corner. Yeah.
we're back. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Call me a dick. Get sloppy. Hey, good night. Love you. No.
Hi.
Ian says hi. Oh, hi. That wasn't for you. No, that was for Ian.
Okay. Cool. Whatever's.
Alright, good night. Oh, have fun. I'll hit record. Oh. That shit. Dude, that's a fucking good idea, actually. No,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll use his piss money to get you a new tattoo. Fucking entrepreneurs right here.
Okay. I'm back to streaming, by the way. Oh yeah.
Well, good thing this gets saved.
Yeah, it's all archived. It's fine.
Mom will watch it, my mom will watch it.
I'm never posting this on the thing. It's only going to Twitter. I gave up on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg's not getting into this. Fuck him. Yeah,
Is.
he's a lizard man. It's so weird, man. Like all those jokes about him being like Data is like too uncanny. Like the joke is too real, man.
Black sculpture that got like somehow animated. I don't know. Like I mean, I'd be afraid too being in a court full of old people that don't know how computers work. But like, he looks fucking inhuman.
Yeah, it's just oh shit.
I think you're right, Craig. I think he looks a robot. It makes sense. Oh, that's a turret. Speaking of Mark Zuckerberg bots,
Aw, dog, we get out of the way.
the dog needs the turret. You're helping.
There you go.
You're a good boy. Pinned in the face.
Oh yeah, this is like the hidden bucker there. Right. Turn off night vision.
The dog meat just doesn't die in this game, right?
Nope. He gets hurt and he does whimper noises and it's sad, but he doesn't actually. Yeah, but he doesn't actually die. No. Yeah, throws off Blue sometimes. Cause like Blue will like come in here and sit on the futon, and then like dog meat will whine and he'll be like, huh? Like kind of like look up, like his ears perk up. Like what is that?
That sounds like a dog that's being shot by lasers. Sounds.
Wait there.
That's good stuff.
Come on. Go check that out.
Oh, you're about 20 minutes to 11 years.
Okay, I'm not in much of a rush this time around this week. Yeah.
What's up?
I don't know how long you're gonna be sticking around, so I'm
Check it out.
Yeah, we'll just go to 11, the usual.
Over there.
Try to get to Salem in time. Come on, unlock the thing. Fuck. Just unlock the thing, all right?
going to Salem. It's gonna happen.
All right, fuck it. We'll go to Salem. All right, back on this thing. Just wandering the woods with my night vision on.
I don't know if you can hack that computer. It looks kind of like it doesn't have a monitor in it anymore.
That was the door I was trying to hack.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have like my lock picking is decent, but I don't know. All right. This is more or less like remaking the whole "It Comes at Night" poster. It's too darn. You know that movie, that indie movie that was on Netflix, "It Comes at Night," where the thing that should have come at night doesn't show up, and it's yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, spoilers. Nothing comes at night.
The
Only paranoia does.
There's a monster, okay? And you're like, I don't know. But we'll freak out about it anyway.
Well, it's even like a monster. Like that's a weird thing. Is like they teased what it is, because like it's a viral infection, and then like he has like the one kid has like nightmares about it. But that's it. Like that's the closest you get to the thing, right?
Blue City. You're really out of poo.
Wow, look at that. Look at that like fucking skyline, bro.
Fucking magenta, dog.
Yeah,
You know how I
magenta,
feel about magenta.
purples, purples.
Sick way of banging with that.
Gets banned from spiciness.
Let's get him on the spice.
All right.
Free, though. Else you're gonna get fucking faster than that accent from Netflix.
Yeah.
I like how you're like, no nip slips in this stream, and then you're like, I turned my stripper mode on.
Well, that's a weird thing. It's like there's like most of them. It just like depends on what like outfits like it gives, because like they're just and like they're randomly generated, right? So yeah, there's like one core set that's cut like pretty damn low, and then it's never shown up on any of the NPCs, and it just randomly was there. I'm like out of the corner of my eye, I catch it.
Where my wife works at a corsettery, Wonderbust. A Wonderbust is that's not even a thing that exists.
Yeah, it's like just covers like the waist. That's basically it, right? Yeah.
And that's
Ah, that's the yeah, that's the technical term for it. We've learned new stuff today. Yeah.
Get Ninja Mask points. Kinda dumb.
Shoot that wing off.
Look at that blow. He's gonna fuck you up later, so you better hang on.
Oh, what was that? There we go.
What the hell?
I got hit from behind by something. Oh, that's why. The Sultron, nice. All right.
Cool. The plus, you know, it's a robot.
Oh, and instantly dead. Cool.
He's being but
Criticaled me.
oh, I got a bit of lag then on this one. He literally just died.
Yeah, there's like a slight delay.
Saltron's pretty cool.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
That's why it wasn't assault.
Listen, all y'all, it's a sabotage.
It was probably the Institute.
Yeah. Yeah, like
It probably was.
Like, I mean, everyone, like, freaking masturbates themselves to, like, how awesome New Vegas is, and I'll agree, I have two fists right there, but, I actually really enjoy just the entire, like, the actual concept of, like, the Institute and, like, what this was supposed to be. It was, like, pre-Westworld, where, like, the entire thing is, like, well, humanity kind of fucked up everything. The Institute is like, well, we need to like repopulate, but also we need like people to like help us out with this that are like intelligent enough to deal with it. So they're like, oh, just make robots. Hmm.
Oh yeah, Blade Runner.
Yeah, like pretty much Blade Runner. Yeah.
It's like I feel like with following the whole team, everything. It's like there's good story in there and everything too. And they're just kind of like, hey, what was everyone's favorite Skyrim DLC? Was it Hearthfire?
Ah, but they fixed that with this. Like the mods for these for doing that stuff is really neat. So there's this one called like Sim Settlements. I haven't installed. I haven't really started it yet though. But it more or less turns that part of it into like The Sims, where like you get a different like camera view and you assign your like people to like actually build stuff for themselves, and like they set up their own establishments. And there's like actual expansions of like Industrial Revolution or like weather things. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought it was odd because like Fallout has always kind of felt like in this world that like went on without you, like
Hmm.
one way or the other. Again, except for like, well, even too, it's like you were in your settlement, so you didn't really see anything outside of that. But
Hmm.
like, it's already a pre-existing world, whereas this one, it's like you're gonna have to make this world. It's that's kind of it seems like the opposite, but like I mean, you still explore.
Well, that's the thing is like I think the like the big overarching plot of it is rebuilding. Like it's a rebirth, because like there's two ways of approaching it. Where like the Institute is the very scientific, like cold. This is how you do it. Whereas like the other side of it is, actually there's like three sides of it all. There's like the railroad, where it's like the most important thing we have is freedom, because like the railroad helps Sins readjust and like escape from the Institute, and like they basically treat they treat it as like synthesized matters, right? So SML, yeah, and
Vegas, right? Was it New Vegas or was it 3 where you first knew about the railroad?
no, like railroad is just established in just this one, because like it's
Oh,
established
it's
just
the
for it's established just for the like based around the synths, whereas like there's nothing really else spinning.
But it actually started in one of the previous games. But it was such a minor thing.
Oh yeah.
It was New Vegas. It was like pretty early on in the game. They just like, we're looking for a man, but they're a robot. And you had to like,
Oh. Huh.
who it was, but I also like, they were accidentally called like, what was it? The third game.
Oh,
A small
shit.
part, but it was like a really cool like, oh, it's neat, but there's like this other faction, and like essentially like people could also be not people. Like that's kind of it was a cool little seed that that was kind of neat to see. Giant plot for like Fallout 4.
Well, that's neat. I never thought. I never knew that was like established like that early.
Small thing, but like it is just a side quest.
Yeah. Whereas this is like a big thing, and then like the final viewpoint is like Brotherhood of Steel, where they're like, nope, these robots are fucked up. Nope, nope, we gotta shut that down. And also, fuck you, Institute. Like they just like show up in their blimp and they're like a fuck no to everything. So you have like the three. So you have like those three like viewpoints of like, but each of them represents their own version of like how they want to rebuild the world, and then that like ties into the whole settlements thing, because then that's like your own thing of like how will you like actually rebuild the world. So I get it in that kind of sense, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. 'Cause I mean, like New Vegas kind of had its own similar thing, where it's like you could side with like one of these three factions, or you could just be like, fuck it, everything's mine now.
Well, but that's the thing, is like that's always been like that's always been the staple of like even like like modern Elder Scrolls, and like even like Fallout, like even original like Fallout ones, where it's like, you know, where like choices matter, and like it always comes down to like the one choice, whatever. But it's like, I don't know, like what is the thematic of like New Vegas when it comes to that? Is it because to me it feels more like a revenge story? Because like right off the bat, you're like your entire thing is like getting revenge for like basically getting shot and left for dead out in the middle of the desert, and then at the end it's like,
Yeah, no,
and then at the end it's like how you personally decide your like and your like ends meets.
it super starts as a revenge story, but then like the area that you're like thrust into is like everything's kind of morally gray. It's like who does have the best for this world now? Like the Caesar's Legion, it's like okay, the technology fucked everything up, and like totalitarian rule,
Mm-hmm.
like pluses and minuses, because it's like okay, well, oppose him if, or like you can't oppose them if they're just gonna be like, okay, we're taking you out back and shooting you.
Yeah, like they're like a pretty much like a dictatorship, like totally authoritarian rule, because they're like, well, people need to be guided.
CR, even though like politicians as well, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I always forget about that, because like the NCR always comes off like as a meme as like the good guys from like California, but it's still like they have to deal with it. They have to deal with the bureaucracy, because to me they always feel like, oh, there's this filter. They always feel like we don't have enough resources. We're just like getting by.
too, like you talk to any soldier, and they're just fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole Mr. House thing where it's like, they claim this is mine and I shouldn't have it all, but also I'm doing it for pure profit. Dictatorship. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
way to do it either. It's like the ultimate fence sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird because of that too. Like I still haven't beaten New Vegas. Want to get to that end game yet? Like there's still so much I want to do. So Skyrim.
Yeah, and that's its own like big long quest thing too.
Even then, like with Skyrim, it's like, oh, the Stormcloaks and the Legion, really like or the Imperials, and like that was seem as big of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like an NCR but just like medieval style. It's just so inconsequential that you're like, I don't think I ever need to like bother doing a whole revolution.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing is like everyone always says that like, the more interesting thing is like the side quest stuff that you do in Skyrim compared to like the actual main one itself.
Yeah, no, the main like the Alduin storyline was like, yeah, it just I don't want to say they fucked up with it, but like, which is why I played the Dragonborn DLC next,
Mm-hmm.
and like that actually felt like a proper final boss. I was actually just like, I mean, I still took it out like months ago. It was like, oh, this is multi-level. Like, oh, he's dragons, there's skull dragons attacking me, and then like he basically goes Super Saiyan while he's Super Saiyan, and it's like it actually felt like taking on this like nemesis character, and like a bunch of cool shit's going on, there's stuff going on behind you that you can't see, but you're like, it actually felt kind of more on edge and like into that than when I was like fighting off Alduin in like
Mm-hmm.
fun. Then like it's kind of cool, like as someone that never played any Elder Scrolls games, like Skyrim is my first Elder Scrolls. So it's kind of cool going to like Solstheim and being like, oh, this is a place that wants to have like, which is kind of cool, and I get to kind of see. If I were to play any of the older games and go into this place again, I would have a different style of nostalgia. If that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Be like, oh, cool! Like I get to see what it's like in the future. This is what happened in the past, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Because like they're because I think Skyrim is the one where it's like the most forward in like the future, whereas like Elder Scrolls Online is like technically in the timeline that's like the very first game.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Skyrim takes place 200 years after Oblivion.
Yeah, it always plays it very loose for the timelines because it's like, well, it's like yeah, 200 years later, and it's like nothing really changed. It's always just like this one fantasy setting kind of thing, right?
It's like how in Fallout, it's like 2,255, but it's been 1950 for like 12 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like between each game though there isn't like there isn't that much of a like a time jump though.
It's still pretty kind of tight for like everything like that.
Okay, like the time like okay, let's just say cutoff point is like 3 to onward, right? Every one is like every game is like kind of set within each time, like aside from your main character being like 200 years old in this one. But like compared to the timeline of like present day for like 3 versus 4, it's pretty much tight. Whereas like Skyrim and like Elder Scrolls Online, it's like yeah, there's like over 200 years difference. It's like 400 or 500, yeah.
A lot of fantasy things are very like liberal with time stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, one of the things I'll bring up too, because I always have to bring things back to Bionicle.
Wouldn't be a thing without it, yeah.
The timeline for Bionicle is fucking stupid. It was alive for this many million years, and then essentially for a week this stuff happened. But then 500 years later, 1,000 years after that, this character rose to. I'm like, it has to be this like.
Yeah, like meanwhile, nothing happens in between those two like millions of years. Yeah.
Like these characters are just like got their thumbs up their asses. Like two things where it's like, yeah, this is like 10 years later. Like this is like 2 years later. Like
Yeah, even like 5 or something would be fine. Yeah.
like shit happened 5 years ago had a major impact on you now. And like anything like super dramatic either. It's like for everybody, right?
Hmm.
Even like our own line on Earth, it's like 10 years ago was a totally different time.
Oh yeah.
20 years ago was a totally different time. 200 years ago, like who's gonna remember 200 years ago? Like fucking mechanics.
Hmm.
You know that doesn't. That was only like 100 years ago too, right? So it's we keep shit tight. You don't have to be like 1,000,000 years ago this thing happened and now we're suffering these consequences. No, that shit happened so long ago that's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always.
That kind of fucking up. Like Gold and Silver, that takes place what 2 or 3 years after the original game, and yeah, shit exploded, volcano exploded. You can still go there. Magma's cool. It's an island now.
Oh yeah. I always forgot about that like connection like that. Yeah.
And then like you fight your player character again as like the final boss of the game.
Hmm.
Have you played any? You play Pokemon, right?
Oh yeah.
Human being. What was your first Pokemon game? That's fair, actually. It's funny because like I've been playing the Pokemon games like since they came out. The one that I picked up like later on in college and was like Emerald, like it's like shelf life. But like Pokemon Red and Silver, or like Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, those were like almost day ones for me.
Hmm.
And like hard, not hard games to play, but like from a technological standpoint, they're very dated. Like they're still fun to play, and they're still fun to like mess around with. Very much into like doing all the glitches and like all the like just how far can I push this game before it won't load anymore?
Yeah, it's like mods, like the mod scene before, became properly that. Like early mod scene, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's still Silver game. Like when that came out, that was such a like thing for that franchise. I feel like every time they release a game, even though it is like more of the same, like go here, fight this gym, go there.
Oh yeah, like the basic like game, like the actual like gameplay itself has always remained consistent. It's just the approach of it. It's sort of like how games, how I feel like with modern games, that it's always creeping towards being more cinematic than it is, like gameplay.
Yeah.
Like okay, good example for me because I just started playing them is the Yakuza series, and like 1/3 of like playing it for half an hour is a cutscene, and it'll go on like for a long ass time, like 10-15 minutes, and like it'll jump between like a nice like cinematic cut one to like jumping into like in-game like dialogue stuff, and then you beat the shit out of people. But but again, like a lot of that stuff is just like it's all driven to be cinematic. Like new God of War, way more cinematic than like any other of them before, and it's like because they do that because it's always the newer audience that like is used to it now. So I'm wondering like how they're doing with like that with like Pokemon, because now it's like I noticed that a lot with like Hawaii Edition, where it's like a lot more cutscenes than before.
Totally. And I personally love that.
Which is weird because like your character is fairly kind of like a mute character, because like again, a big like difference between like Western and Eastern games, I feel, is like the actual protagonist itself, because like it's always you create your own character, and like it's about your gameplay experience rather than the protagonist's like journey.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of like, it's cool that they started changing that up to like, so you're like, okay, here's your blank slate, but like, you're gonna be able to like completely change your character and like switch it up. So it's like kind of like.
But that's all like
building.
no, but that's the thing is like that's all like surface wise stuff. I mean, when it's different if like say God of War with like Kratos, is because Kratos has his own views, his own personality, his own like choices and whatnot. You like there's an understanding of conceptually what the character is, whereas a blank design your own character doesn't have any of those. Like you make your own choices and stuff like that. That's whereas like it's weird in a Pokemon game where it's like you bring up the fact that you fight your own like former one, but it's like from that standpoint it's like you're fighting a blank slate, because like all your like there's no actual personality or anything like that. There's no like
3 LMCs.
yeah, like that's your most like thing about it. I think actually the most interesting one that kind of balances both is like the Persona games, because the Persona ones like it's always your character your character is a blank slate because it's the window into the world, but you build up your relationships with like people, so it's like the same thing of like it's your own story, but you can always but there's always this, especially when the anime comes out, because then that defines what choices they would make in their canon, and therefore it develops a personality, and then you're like, oh, this is what they feel, this is like how their sense of justice is, this is how they would feel about the situation.
Yeah, so it's almost kind of like it like makes them play like what they're wanting you to play compared to like you can always like change it around too. It's like I'm gonna make this character feel in that if it's like if it doesn't like previously said like this is what your character's supposed to be like. It's like you kind of take on like it adds more role playing to the role play. And I don't do it like I've done really handful of games I think, but it's like usually built up where it's like you're lawful good. You're not gonna be going around skinning game.
Yeah, because there's like that,
Like
there is that moral compass. Yeah.
so it's I just kinda like
Cool. Good segue. Good segue. I don't know. There's some games though where like, where there's that idea of like soft canon, like Knights of the Republic is very like notorious for that, because like, oh shit, wow, welp.
soaking up.
There's gonna be a delay there, but oh boy,
Ooh. Hell.
Deathclaw out of nowhere.
That come from
It just ran up. Damn. Well, yeah, that's what I should be doing. I should be using my power armor, but I'm stupid and I don't want to bother using that because I don't have enough stupid batteries. That fusion core thing, yeah, it needs power cores for it and stuff. It's dumb.
classic powers.
Like that's the thing is like, well, you eventually like you collect them like over time quite a bit. I never thought of it because like cosmetic wise, what's the point unless I have a cool looking power armor? Even though I do have a power armor mod that like makes it more like an enclave looking one. Okay, I'm gonna try to approach this very very cautiously.
The death cloud first, wherever it is.
Yeah, maybe he won't be there because that's the thing is like there's like randomly generated things. Like you won't get the same encounter. You won't get the same encounter twice. It's kind of strange.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's Maribek though. What was this?
It's crab.
Just giant crab people, yeah. Well, yeah, you'd have a
Crab tastes like deep
you have a nautical boner over this because like way more ocean stuff.
ran out of that lobster no. Alex always did look cool.
We're in the outskirts of Salem now, so we actually kind of made it. Like, look, that's how close I'm at.
There you go.
Right there. Okay.
Crab's a witch.
All right. Oh, man, I'm like so out of like ammo too. It's pretty ridiculous. All right.
And the rest of
Yeah, we're just exploring. All right. All right. It's this one that's okay, now I know why it's super fog, like even more super foggy than normal. It's not just true weather. This one I have called like film effect, and it's more or less like a glossy Vaseline Vaseline coat on the lens. So it makes so like certain hours of the day it's very clear, like right now it's fine. Oh man, like most of the time it's just stupid like fog and stuff like that. I had one turned on before. It was called like vivid storms, and like the radiation storms for that were like fucking intense. Just like full green lightning bolts and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so here's Salem.
just stand up or on the side.
Here's our Salem, or like witch town. The Museum of Witchcraft. Yep. Alright. So let's change from that side. To like
We made it, boys.
we have to go inside though.
Salem.
There's like a secret door around here, I think.